The number of confirmed cases across the world quickly rises.
We all need to take steps to reduce close human contact.
You are not immune.
People should stay indoors and
Stay safe.
Look out for yourself.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Tom Fountainhead back once again with chapter 2 of the ApocaLICKse. And honestly, I've been filming so many of these episodes in a row today. I don't even know what year it is, what country I'm in, what my name is. Everything is just a blur. So excuse me if I'm a bit out of it in this episode because I'm tired as. But we have septuplet groups coming up, so that's going to be fun, and this sounds like this. Once again, this is one of those concepts that sounds a lot more difficult than it actually is. Ooh, septuplets. Well, it's just a grouping of 7 notes, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes, and then the pattern starts again. It's not difficult per se, it's just something that's not being done as often as other subdivisions. That's all there is to it. And if you find a way of alternating this, especially when you're switching between 2 hands like we are about to, and you're finding a way that's comfortable for you to do in both of these hands, then there's no stopping you from doing groups of 11 or 14. You know, it's just a matter of finding things that go well together in these both hands, that flow from one hand to another effortlessly. And for me, this pattern here, it's really one of those. And it's once you get it going, it's really an easy thing to do, right? There's not much to it for me because both of these things on their own are really things that I do not struggle with. Bring them together and it works. So if you do struggle with that, then the reason may be that these patterns in both of these hands in themselves may be tricky for you to do, which doesn't mean that you suck or anything. If anything, I suck. But there's things that come easy to you physically and things that do not come easy to you. And I've noticed that so many times that I can play things that make other people go crazy and say, wow, that is the craziest thing. I've never imagined that to be possible on a guitar. But then at the same time, they will be like that same person that said that to me will play something that makes me go, oh, well, I can't play this at all. Like, this is beyond me. Just because, you know, our physical abilities and our strengths and weaknesses are so different. And if you can't play this septuplet group, for example, then don't despair, because maybe this is just a thing that doesn't come easy to you, right? This combination between left and right. It's really one of the things that make up my playing style so many times, because it is a thing that I enjoy playing. If it's a thing that you do not enjoy playing, then maybe just leave it be and find something else and come back for the next section where we have something else that may be more up your alley. So don't despair if this doesn't work for you. Just saying. I think that's an equally important lesson in itself than, you know, the things that I be showing you in these sections. Just do not think and expect everything to work for you. And there's people who just think if you stick with it, if you just practice hard enough, you will get it eventually. Well, maybe anything is possible, and maybe anything is possible if you set your mind to it. And I do subscribe to that viewpoint, but on the other hand, is it really worth spending your time practicing anything and everything? So maybe there are things that are really well suited for you, for your playing style, that you haven't spent nearly enough time exploring because you've been so busy practicing something else that will never be natural to you. Like, look at me and alternate picking. So I've spent so much time in my life trying to get my alternate picking to be at least decent. And I'm never going to be great at it. Never. You know, I see people like Kevin Heiderich or Steven Toronto and all these like super shred guys and the way they alternate pick. And I'm like, Jesus, I will never be able to do this. Never in a million years. And honestly, I don't care, because if at some point I'm lucky that fate has decided to stop me from practicing things that I do not enjoy and put obstacles in my way to, not have any time or energy to do these things, because they are not just not worth the effort. They just obscured my view of what was most important, and I ended up spending a lot more time on those things that do come a lot easier to me and that feel more rewarding. And now, without further ado, let's get into the lick, shall we? Because this is already a bit on the esoteric side. But I hope I could get this point across to you guys. Do not just practice something because you think you need to, because somebody else tells you to. That's really not a good enough reason. Practice things that feel good to you, that feel right to you, and that make your playing better. And if it's making your playing more unique, then that is better, right? I wanted to move on, but just one other thing. Being able to play more like somebody else doesn't make your playing better. That may be a tough pill to swallow, but if you are spending the next 10 years of your life in your bedroom trying to pick like John Petrucci, what does that make you? Does it make you John Petrucci? No, he does. He is already existing, and you're not gonna get even an ounce of what he's gained for himself because he's John Petrucci, because he doesn't play like anybody else. He plays like himself. If you try to recreate that, even though you're not that guy, it's just going to backfire. And you're going to waste years of your life trying to do that. And I really cannot stress that enough. So take these warning signs that some things are just not for you, and don't feel bad about that, because those things will just obscure your view of those things that are right for you and that you can develop into your own brand of playing. I don't know what that is, but it may just maybe something that seems, trivial now, but just feels really good and feels really easy, and you can come up with tons of variations. And there you go. Then you expand on that, and you spend your time creating the highest amount of variations and the craziest applications of these techniques that come easy to you that anybody has ever seen, right? And now, finally, let's get into the lick. So, groups of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 1, 2, 3 notes in the right hand. And like I said, in the last, did I say it in this one? I lost my train of thought. So in the last section, we ascended in these groups of 9, and then we ended up playing 15th, 17th, and 19th fret on the high E string as the last 3 notes when ascending. So now these 3 will remain where they are on the fretboard. And I'm bringing in the right hand on the 20th and 22nd fret. I'm using the middle and ring finger, as you can see. So now I have 5 fingers on the fretboard at this point. And now I can, when descending, pull off this ring finger into the palm of my hand, and then the middle finger towards the floor. And then, since we're now playing the left hand, I can just continue the pull-offs in this direction. So pull off to 17, pull off to 15. And then the final note will be a hammer-on the 19th fret of the B string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that is the pattern. So you can see it's a hand synchronization thing. If you can get this to flow between those 2 hands, no problem. And the speed just basically comes as a byproduct of that good synchronization. So now we are going to repeat that pattern 1 string below. 20, 22nd, And then while this is going on, I will be bringing those other fingers back into the fold on the 15th and 17th fret. Silently, because what's going on up here is really what makes the notes at this point, and whatever you do here doesn't come through. So you can bring those in so they will be ready for the pull-off action in about a split second. 20 to 22, pull off to 20, pull off to 19, pull off to 17, pull off to 15. And then this time, the last note of the 7-note grouping will be on the 17th fret of the G string. Right, and then we repeat that one more time on the G string, but the fingerings will be a little bit different. So this is going to be 14, 16, 17, 19, 21. So we had this finger on the 17th. Now we bring in the right hand on 19 and 21. And while this is going on, these two fingers will fall into place on 14 and 16. So then 19, 21, pull off to 19, pull off to 17, pull off to 16, pull off to 14, and then the last note will be the 17th fret of the D string. And then combine these three groups. There you go. That's a lot of notes. But as you see, just this combination of two things between left and right that come easy to you, that you can do fast and effortlessly, that makes for these groupings, and then it's not a big deal at all. And then finally we will be topping it off with a lick that just happened kind of by accident, because I still wanted to continue playing these 7-note grooves, but it just felt a little bit just uncreative, and so I tried different ways of finishing this lick off, and at some point I just improvised this and stuck with it, which is weird because I can absolutely not do this on its own. I cannot play that cleanly at that speed unless I come out of this group of 7 notes for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, the idea is to go back to the G string, play 14th, 16th, 19th, 16th, 14th with alternate picking. Down, up, down, up, down. And then we go to the D string, 17 and 14, up, down. And same thing on the A string, up on the 17 and then down on the 14th. So then, if we combine all of those things together, we have and that is the entire lick. And I'm way too lazy to try to play this up to speed now at this hour. Forgive me for that. And I hope this has been beneficial on many levels. And I will be seeing you probably in a couple of minutes. Oh God, for you in a couple of days for the last section of this entire chapter. So I promise we are going to wrap this up nice and tight.